Welcome back to theCUBE. We are coming to you from Chicago and we are streaming live from Nutanix NEXT. I'm Alison Kosik, I am hosting the show today alongside my fabulous co-pilot, John Furrier. He's the co-founder and co-CEO of SiliconANGLE, theCUBE. We are winding down the day. What are the themes that come to you?
Well, the theme here is that the agentic and AI factory operating model has changed. The world wants to create a layer to power the agents, yet have the stability of the cloud native wave that built over the past 15 years. And this next segment with the CEO of Nutanix really is going to be enlightening. Keynote was very strong, not a new information, but building on stuff we've heard before, Kubernetes, containers, VMs, all powering this next wave of growth that's going to hit developers, IT buyers, influencers, and decision makers in the industry, and then the C-suite in all markets as AI becomes the thing in all places, all software, all the time, powered by AI infrastructure, so it's super exciting.
All right, let's bring in the CEO of Nutanix, Rajiv Ramaswami. Thanks so much for coming on theCUBE. And I think the first question that comes to mind is, how do you see the business overall changing? Is this a true re-architecture moment?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Alison, and thank you, John. It's great to be here, as always. So our business has shifted very decisively over the last several years, and deliberately so. So maybe I'll take a step back and say where we were, where we are now, and then we can talk about the future, which a lot of this .next year was about the future. So, I mean, I know, John, you've known us for many years, tracked us for many years, so if you look at the past, Nutanix was an HCI company. Right? HCI company, and when I got here maybe 6 years ago, now almost, when I talk to customers, they say, yeah, Nutanix, great platform for running HCI and my end user computing workloads. From there, we went to building out a full platform that could run everything. And then we expanded on our multi-cloud approach to be able to work with all the big cloud providers to take our offerings on the public cloud. And then more recently, we've expanded from being a company that's just focused on HCI and hybrid multi-cloud to becoming a platform company. In multiple ways, we're not just wedded to our own storage anymore. We support a whole range of ecosystem storage partners, and you saw many of those being announced at the show. New ones being Lenovo and NetApp in particular, with some of the other ones coming to market with Dell and Everpure. But then we didn't stop there, right? Now we are paving the way for the future, because our customers are going through a massive architectural shift, right? They are moving from, of course you got to run today's applications, of course they are mission critical, you got to keep your businesses going, but you got to think about tomorrow. And what is tomorrow? Tomorrow very quickly is every new modern application being built is containerized, it is orchestrated with Kubernetes, but more than everything else, tomorrow is about the world of AI and how it's going to impact how businesses operate. And if you don't make use of it, you're going to be left behind from a competitive perspective. So it's all about AI inferencing, agentic AI, where you now move from simple inferencing to being able to really have agents delegate stuff to agents and have more autonomy and enable more autonomy in the enterprise, make things happen so much faster, right? So that world is our future as well, because we are now moving to this new world of providing a complete platform to enable organizations, companies to be able to go build and run these agentic AI applications in a very easy turnkey way. And also focused on building an ecosystem to support all of that. So that's kind of really what this conference was anchored around. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about that vision and where it's going.
Yeah.
On your keynote, Rajiv, you talked about a couple things that you framed things differently. I want to get your thoughts. It's not just a cloud platform operator. You talked about, you mentioned AI factories. I'm going to read some of my comments I wrote on X and I want to get your reaction. You were framing the hybrid cloud as moving to an AI operating model. For the past decade, the enterprise conversation centered around hybrid and multi-cloud, where do workloads run and how is the infrastructure distributed? This year it's changed, okay? You've outlined the transition from cloud operating model to AI operating model, where the enterprise must manage not just the applications and infrastructure, but the pipelines of data, models, and increasingly autonomous agent. In this world, AI is not experimental, it's operational.
Yes.
What's your reaction to that? Because we're hearing execution, that this AI is forcing a re-architect of IT, not just cloud, IT 100%. And clouds, cloud and AI operating models coming together. What's your vision, what's your reaction to that?
Oh, 100%, right? I mean, if you think about a CIO today, right, that CIO has to be thinking, and they are, about how they can enable AI in the enterprise. And do so with the appropriate governance in place, provide the flexibility to all their developer teams to go transform the business. So, and that becomes more and more central. In fact, after my sessions, we spent a fair bit of time with our CXO customers who are here, and you know what, all the things they heard about, this was top of mind for them. Yeah. How can you enable me to get AI deployed in my enterprise? Yes, they have to worry about their hybrid and multi-cloud and their VMware migrations, and all of that stuff is going on for sure, but they're very focused on what's the future for them, and that is around AI.
On the evolution, hybrid cloud is table stakes, Kubernetes is the foundation, platform consolidation has come up, and then the expansion of VMs and containers, but VMs have a new role, containers and AI stacks are emerging. How do you talk to customers when they say, hey, I want to run enterprise AI, but I'm not sure I want to spend a lot of CapEx. I might go to a neo cloud, I might go to a hyperscaler, but I need to use partners like MongoDB or NetApp or anyone in the ecosystem, but they got to be designed in.
Yeah.
How do you talk about that? Because you're telegraphing neutrality. You got to deal with AMD just recently,
yes,
and NVIDIA. So you didn't really, it's like neutral, pick your platform. Heterogeneous, check. What are customers saying? Because your ecosystem is forming to be really elite. The
yes.
numbers are huge.
I tell you, one of the things that I'm most proud of as a company is how this ecosystem has grown around us over the last few years. Look at it this year, over 100 partners sponsored the event, and you can look at the expo floor here behind us and it's buzzing, and we've got all the major names in the industry here, the major cloud providers, the major server providers, the major storage providers, the major chip providers. It's just everybody's here, right? And
why is that?
Yeah, and
what's the reason?
Let me tell you why, right? It is a sign that what we are doing, as you said, you use the word platform, and we take that very carefully, right? To me, a platform is around, the value of a platform is directly tied to the ecosystem around it too, and all these partners are seeing the value of the platform that we bring today to the market and realizing the value of being integrated together with us, right? Because it benefits them, it benefits the customer. And that's really why you see this, right? We've been very deliberate about building that ecosystem over the last couple of years and to where it is today. And now, by the way, it's not done by any means. Now we've got a whole new ecosystem that we're just starting to build around AI. And we announced, for example, a set of AI PaaS services today, right? That help developers actually build their AI applications. And that's just the beginning. And that catalog is available this summer, but we got a lot more to do. But this abstraction layer that we provide, continue to provide choice, right? You talked about AI being now running on everywhere, right? The inferencing and agentic AI is going to run in the public clouds, it's going to run in neo clouds, it's going to run on premises. So, and we want to be the platform that can help our customers run with all of this. By the way, cost per token. Token is now the unit of economics, right here?
Yeah.
And I talked to a whole bunch of customers whose main focus was, can you help me get my token costs under control? And a lot of that, providing visibility into what's being consumed, providing guardrails around what's being consumed, and trying to reduce the cost by optimizing what you do. All of those become table stakes, and that's what we're doing.
Rajiv, I was talking to Alison earlier today about Nutanix, and I said, well, Rajiv, he loves to come out and talk about architecture. It's like Jensen, because I puts all the architecture as a master class. You've been doing this for a while. You always lead with the architecture. Everyone knows you're super technical. You wrote the book on technology. We've talked about it in the past. But this year is different. You had the architecture. I want to get into what's changed. We'll put a pause on that. But it also transitioned to a very successful partner ecosystem portion. Okay? This is a very familiar pattern. You see it with NVIDIA, you see it with AMD. Ecosystems that are actually designed in it's a very nuanced point. So you got all the moves down. So let's start with architecture. What's changed this year, okay? What is going on there? There's some real technical advances. What were you presenting? What was the rationale? What was the key points?
Yeah, look, I think the interesting thing is our core platform is evolving to become an agentic AI platform, and a lot of the work is to be done in the core itself, right? We focused from an AI perspective on 4 layers where we are innovating, right? So we talked at the very top about this AI services, right? And on the AI services, I think it's two things. It's providing, this ecosystem again of curated open source components that people can then build applications with. It is providing cost, governance, access control to all the models that people need to run, right? That's the second big piece of it. And then underneath that is the optimization of the infrastructure to run all of this so that you can drive the cost per token down, optimize it, get better performance. That's actually very core to what we do as a technology company. We've been doing this for compute-centric workloads forever, right, with the hypervisor capabilities. And what we've done now is to optimize that hypervisor for GPU-centric workloads, being aware of topological constraints and optimizing how workloads get placed onto GPUs and CPUs and the memories so that we can optimize and get best performance. That's actually hard work, and we've done that work, right, as an example.
What does that mean? Because NVIDIA's big story is that, and this is Jensen's direct quote, you don't want to let those GPUs be idle, which there's money sitting there.
Absolutely,
does it affect that and
100%.
Token price?
You want to make the maximum use of GPUs that you buy, right, that you have, right? Yes, GPUs sitting idle are bad, because think about it, right? On the one hand, you're spending more and more tokens, and if you're going to need to buy more and more GPUs to go use that, it's not efficient. Same thing as we saw in compute-centric workloads. Back before virtualization came on, utilization was very low. With virtualization, it became much higher. Same thing is happening now with GPUs. It's the next big resource to be optimized.
What's different about those two paradigms? Conceptually, I understand it.
Yeah.
What's different with GPUs? The storage, the HBM, what's architecturally different?
Yeah, so there's a different set of constraints that you have to optimize, right, on these things. You want to make sure, for example, you can actually get, you can actually make good use of the memory that you have on the GPUs and, for example, offload some of the stuff that gets used frequently, like key value cache. Right, so that's something you've got to offload. You've got to make sure that the workloads are placed so that whenever GPU talks to memory, right, you want to be making sure that's as local as possible. You don't want to be able to have to go across, through the CPU to the other CPU in the socket and move out, minimize and try to have locality of everything so that you can get the best utilization and performance. So it's kind of the same problem, but with a different set of things to optimize and manage.
Okay, so the ecosystem.
Yeah, so that was the second piece, and I just to finish up on this one, right? And so then there were a lot of innovations we talked about on the data side, right? Taking raw data that's coming in with our data hub and being able to really parse it, put it, filter it, get rid of private information, for example, out of it, and then vectorize it and put it in a form that can be easily consumed by the AI applications. That's a very important thing, right? You need to be able to simplify it. AI is only as good as the data that you feed into it. So making sure that you feed the right data into it is very important. So these are the technology innovations that are the pillar of this agentic AI stack.
All right, so now, ecosystems is proof that platforms work. You're not only a platform, I'll say it, you might say it differently, but you're also a system. Operating model implies operating system.
Yes.
You look at all the successful AI companies, they're all software based, they all intellectual property, they're systems.
Yes.
They're not just software, software's everywhere. As customers have their software expanding, talk about that system because your ecosystem is proof. When you're, the logo slide last year was like half, maybe more than half.
Yeah.
Less than that was.
Yeah, I will perhaps in this case use the word system and platform a little interchangeably, right? Because the system effectively is everything coming together, right? And that's what the platform is doing. And the fact is, this is the thing, right? If people, the more ecosystem that you have around this platform, the more tentacles you get, and what happens is that the customers get a much more complete solution that they can deploy in the market, and it helps them address very specific problems, okay? So in this world, for example, of supply chain constraints, they want to use and sweat the hardware as much as they can. So the fact that we are broadening our ecosystem of storage vendors that we support is very critical to them, right? That it allows them to modernize, get to running these new container workloads.
So it takes the supply chain risk off the table.
Takes that off the table, right? It helps ameliorate that quite a bit, right? That's just one use case for them. Now as they go to this cloud native world, right? They're now trying to figure out how they can manage their cloud native environments and their current environments rather than having silos, bring them all together. And while doing that together, you also want to be able to stand up these container environments very easily. So container environments need networking, they need storage, they need observability, they need disaster recovery, all those things you want to provide, right? And part of that is provided by this ecosystem that we build around us. So this is again where it all starts coming in to solve real customer problems.
The thing that jumps out at me, and you talk about it on stage, but it's also globally being discussed. And by the way, software gives a lot of optionality, certainly in supply chains, one of many examples, but sovereignty is huge.
New thing.
Now, you go back, say 4 or 5 years ago, sovereignty was cloud sovereignty.
Yes.
Protect the data, GDPR, privacy. It's shifting now with AI, and we're seeing this at the RAISE Summits coming up in July, we'll be there, in Europe specifically, that sovereignty in the country is economically driven.
Yes.
Services, telcos are going to adopt a service-based model soon with the edge. You're starting to see economics with AI applications in the countries. So sovereignty has now got 2 components. Data, but that data now is economically valued because it's got tokens. Speak to the sovereignty upside for you.
By the way, so I think this whole move towards sovereignty is here to stay, first of all. I don't think it's going away, it's going to become even more important. And there's a few other things that are driving sovereignty also, which is more self-reliance, more the ability, not just the data piece, which is always part of it, but you want to have your own infrastructure. You want to be in control of it yourself. You want to have your citizens run it and manage it, and not be dependent on outside parties. And to the extent they can, you also want to make sure your technology supply chain is robust to support all of that, right? So that's happening everywhere outside, okay, the US, and even inside the US, there's concerns about sovereignty. So you go to Europe, you go to Asia, it's everywhere, right? And that represents a huge opportunity for Nutanix because, again, we are, this is one of the fundamental things. We enable sovereign clouds to be built, right? That meet these needs, provide the self-reliance capabilities, provide the ability for these folks to operate their own infrastructure, right, in a way that matters to their countries, right, and allows them to, build. I mean, for example, with these AI sovereign clouds being built, countries are trying to stimulate the economy there, right? In fact, there's many government incentives out there to say, let's go build this, because we believe that this is going to help local businesses, use AI easier.
Have you seen governments get more involved?
Oh, 100%.
With the sovereign conversation?
100%. A lot of it is government driven, outside. Right?
And which side of the conversation do they fall?
Oh, the first thing is that it's a government initiative, in many cases, to make sure they have multiple sovereign cloud providers in their countries. The second is they do provide incentives for them. They might finance some of this build out, they might try to bring their own government organizations as initial customers into these. So they want to use this as a stimulus for their economy, to your point, to say, look, we need our capabilities so that our companies, our industry in our country can actually go out there, get AI trained, AI enabled, and hopefully create more economic value as a result.
Rajiv, you're a builder, you're a technologist, you're the CEO. I want to get your personal perspective on this. If you can inject intelligence into the world, your platform, which will hit to the edge, whether it's end user computing for VDI replacements or IoT devices or interfacing to chat, what happens next? And what happens with the Nutanix platform as intelligence comes in? Certainly the technicals are out there, that flywheel's going to kick in. If you're an AI intelligence layer, what happens?
We are the enabler for intelligence is the way I would think about us, right? Because, I mean, by having this platform approach, right, we allow people to go build all these different AI applications, which, last year was simple inferencing, today it's agentic AI, tomorrow it's physical AI and robotics, right? And I would be, sitting here, I wouldn't really know what's going to happen with that intelligence, right? There's all kinds of things that could happen, and I don't know, right? But the possibilities are endless. And just, by enabling this, I think it's really going to help transform how every company, every business operates.
What's your big bet in the platform? Because once that scales, if you can do the work now, it's like, if you do your homework now and get it right, is it governance? What are some of the elements that you really think about with your team that's going to create a lot of value and allow that to be extracted by developers, business, and verticals of all types?
Well, the first thing is make it simple for people to consume AI, right? That's important, right? You don't want, it's not easy, right? And just like everything else, the simpler it is, the more adoption you're going to get. The more cost effective it is, the more adoption you're going to get. And then, once you got the basic stuff, then you got to make sure that this is properly governed, make sure you have the security, privacy around the data, make sure you figure out who's accessing what your permissions you're giving it, you're protecting your data, you're protecting all different tenants or users who are using that. All that becomes part and parcel of the enablement of enabling customers to consume AI, and that's what this is all about.
All right.
Nutanix, I have to ask this, I'm just curious what you're thinking. Nutanix helped define what hyperconverged infrastructure is.
Yes.
What do you want the company to be known for in the next 5 years?
Yeah, we truly want to be the platform company where all applications run, right? Today's applications, tomorrow's applications, in this new AI world, we want to become this platform of choice for our customers all around the world.
Okay.
All right.
Rajiv Ramaswami, thank you so much for joining us on theCUBE. It was fantastic.
Congratulations.
Great having you, thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks for watching theCUBE. I'll see you next time.